Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel, Ruffalo Reads. My name is Kelsey and we're here to talk about all the books I read in the month of August, last month of summer, my son's birthday, he started football, everything was happening. I really got back into the swing of things though with reading and posting more and just getting back to normal life. Sorry about my voice, I've been pretty sick and sorry you can hear the AC. It's literally 90 degrees in September, so that's great. Let's get into all the books. I read 12 books this month, which is pretty great for me, especially lately. Usually I read like 9, 10, if not less, but this month I was able to knock out 12 and I'm very happy about that. So let's get into the book. So I decided to do this one a little bit differently. Usually I just go in a linear kind of timeline through what I've read, but I decided to go from my least favorites up to my favorites. So, and I wrote them down. Actually find that for some reason, whatever reason, this just works better for me. I obviously also track on Goodreads, of course, but this just helps me video wise. I don't know why. It also helps me with TBRs because I just cross them off and I don't know, I feel like that really helped me this month, and I literally read every book that was on my TBR for August but one, so I'm really happy with that. So least favorites, we're starting with Off to the Races by Elsie Silver. Sorry, I gave this one 2 stars. This was on my Hoopla, so I picked it up because it was free and I could give it a try. I like Elsie Silver's new series, her Chestnut Spring series. I've only read Flawless and Heartless, and I enjoyed them. So Off to the Races was one of her, I think probably first series, I don't know, but it just was not my favorite. It was very much about horses and it was very kind of repetitive and just felt like it dragged. Didn't feel like the plot was really moving along. It was kind of like a nanny, and it was an antagonistic relationship between the nanny and the guy who had the single dad who had the daughter. Their relationship was cute. It was fine. There was nothing like overtly bad, but it was just predictable, kind of boring, dragged. I don't know. I didn't love it. If you want to try it, it's free on Hoopla or Libby, go for it. Or if you're like a diehard Elsie Silver fan and you love this one, I'm happy for you. I don't know. I didn't connect with this one. So next one. Next one is another 2-star. Actually, I had 2 stars, which was Hate by Tate James. Oh my gosh. This was also on Hoopla, and I remember the hype around this series. Like, it really got all this hype. It's Madison, I think it's the Madison Kate series or something, because that's her name. I just remember like just being confused about why most of what was happening, and she was very annoying. I found the language use just like questionable, and I don't know, it just didn't add up to me. And I don't know if I'm loving, which now we're getting into like fall and stuff, so it's kind of sad, but I just don't know if I'm loving like these dark romances that much, because I've tried quite a few and there's some that I definitely like, of course. But then I read a book like this that was hyped, that a lot of people really liked, and I just didn't like it at all. So again, nothing like bad per se, nothing that I can say that was like offensive or, you know, anything like that. I just simply just didn't like it at all. Like, there was nothing I could be like, oh, you know, at least it did that. No. Okay, next up, and I don't want to linger on these because I don't want this video to be like super long and I'm just talking about how much I didn't like a book. I don't want to do that. So anyways, next up was The Wrong Game by Candy Steiner. This was another new adult like sports romance between a guy and a girl. I don't remember their names, but it was fine. It was like mildly enjoyable. I don't know. It was not memorable at all. It was a football romance. And yeah, I just don't remember anything really about it, but I liked it at the time enough. I didn't love it. Anyways, next up is Professor Astor by Katarina Mora. So this is also a 3 star, sadly. This was the 3rd book in her Off Limits series, Katarina Mora's Off Limits series, which I absolutely loved the first 2 and cannot wait to read the 4th one. However, the 3rd one, I don't know, nothing about it I like, but I enjoyed it enough to give it, you know, a middle a middle of the road 3 stars. Now onto my 4 stars. There's quite a bit of 4 stars, so that's pretty good. First up in my 4 stars, let's talk about the popular one, It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. I have read and enjoyed Tessa Bailey. I have read and disliked Tessa Bailey. That's my AC kicking on, sorry guys, but it's, again, 90 degrees. This one was really freaking cute, and Alexis was her name. She was, everybody says this, but she was very much giving, wait, was her name Alexis? Oh my gosh, I don't know. The character in Schitt's Creek is Alexis, but she was very much giving Alexis from Schitt's Creek vibes, and I love that. She was hilarious. The banter was really cute. I loved that he was like this big gruff fisherman, because I come from an island off the coast of Maine, and every man in my family is a lobsterman. So I can relate, and I found it very sweet how protective he was, and you know, sweet that he like apologized for kind of getting the wrong impression of her at first. And I don't know, it was just very much that he was very attracted to her, she was with him as well, but he was pining first for sure. Yeah, there was spicy scenes. You could definitely feel the character like development, which I loved. And I don't know, I would recommend, if you like Schitt's Creek, if you like have read other Tessa Bailey books and you like her banter, I just really liked this one and I would recommend it. Next to You by Hannah Bonham Young was the second Hannah Bonham Young book that I read, and I'm really glad that I finally gave Hannah Bonham Young a try, because I've seen Caitlin from The Love Librarian talk about Hannah Bonham Young, and I've seen Autumn from Nose in a Book talk about her. She has a channel on YouTube and she has a bookstagram. I really love her and talking to her, and I really, you know, love watching Caitlin and seeing all of her recommendations. She always has so many different books that I have never tried and want to, and she's really funny. So I was kind of always turned off by her covers because they're like very muted, and I don't know, I just never was like drawn to them, but I was like, they're on Hoopla, they're on KU, let's give them a try. And the first one I read by her, loved. This one I really liked and gave it 4 stars. So it's kind of very quirky. It's this girl who's very bisexual, which is really cool, that our main female character is bisexual because she ends up with a man, which is nice, because it's just nice, because I feel like whenever we get a bisexual character, they always end up usually with the same sex, and it's like, it's important that it's just like this casual, not casual, but this casual thing that she could just talk about and just be open about, which is great and how it should be. She, on a whim, because she's very flighty and impulsive and very much that. So she bought a school bus with some inheritance money and wants to renovate it, because I don't know if you've ever seen on Instagram or Pinterest or anything like that, or even Netflix maybe, there was that whole like trend where people were like renovating school buses and turning them into cool living spaces. So she's very much doing that. She enlists the help of a friend, and this is their romantic like relationship and how they develop feelings for each other, and it was a very sweet, and I really liked it. Next up is a book that I gave 4.25 stars, so a little bit above, and that was Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. I finally gave this one a try. I'm not totally a literary girly, but I will read them from time to time just because I like to try all different kinds of books, guys, and I won't be the person that's like just reading this because I have a channel or because I have a bookstagram or something. I will read everything that I'm interested in. So I read this book and I really liked it. It was about, it's really like a character study between 2 friends that are developing a video game, which, you know, does not sound like anything I would ever be interested in. Like, I like playing Mario here and there, but I'm not a video game lover. But I will say I do love character stories. Character development is very much the plot. So I did love that aspect, and the writing obviously is beautiful. I think this won Goodreads and it probably won so many different things, but the writing is beautiful and it really does hook you. There are parts that are a little slow, so I think that's why I gave it 4.25 stars. I wish that it would have just gotten a little more into certain things, but you know, I liked the themes throughout of friendship and like what money and fame can do to you and just the different dynamics. And then there's a third friend that's brought in kind of that is a factor to everything. And yeah, I don't know. Other people are going to talk about this book way more eloquently than me. So I'll just leave it at, I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4.25 stars, and I would definitely recommend pretty much to anybody. Next up is the first book that I read from Hannah Bonham Young, which is Next of Kin, and I gave that one 4.5 stars. So it was so freaking close to a 5-star. It very much was like two kind of friends that don't necessarily get along, raising this child and trying to figure it out vibes. So this was between our two main characters. One has an alcoholic mom. I think she's an alcoholic. Yeah, maybe she's on drugs as well. I don't know. But she has a baby. She calls, says, hey, to her daughter, her adult daughter. I cannot raise this baby. I am giving her to you if you will take her. And of course, her daughter says yes. She wants to raise her sister, her little baby sister, and she wants to hopefully provide her with a beautiful life. But because she doesn't have a lot of money right now, I think she's still in college or something like that, there's this program through the foster care system or something where it's called Team Up or something like that, where it pairs two foster parents that are in kind of similar situations. They live together for a certain trial period, and then they can go off, and they make sure that, like, you know, both the kids are okay and things like that. So it's her and her baby sister, and then it's a guy and his middle school age-ish brother. So different dynamics. They come together, they work really well together. The living situation, the forced proximity is just gold. The way they support each other is beautiful. I just loved this book so much. I don't know, I was just in my feels. I was like just loving it so much. So I would highly recommend. I don't know why I gave it 4.5 stars. Now that I'm talking about it, I'm like, why didn't I give it 5? Maybe I was trying to be like stingy at first with Hannah Bonham Young. I don't know, but love that one so much. Now we are on to my 5 stars, and that will round out the video. So first up, I'll talk about the second book in the Off Limits series by Katarina Mora, Dr. Grant. So I gave this one 5 stars. I think on Goodreads I gave it like 4 point something, but it's 5 stars. I absolutely loved it. All of the women in her series are very much like women in science, like really smart women. So think like Allie Hazelwood. But I say like raise it because I just love it. But anyways, the main female character is in college. She's in medical school. She is creating sex toys. She wants to be innovative. So she actually is like testing one of her prototypes, and it gets stuck. And so she calls a friend of hers and is like, hey, this happened. And her friend's like, well, I'm about to be hopping into a class, I think. And she's like, you need to go to the hospital. And so her family owns the college, I think. Yeah, her family owns this like medical school college. So she goes to the doctor, and the doctor is Dr. Grant. He's gorgeous. They flirt. It's like this whole thing. I think he like gets her, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, inadvertently, you know, not meaning to, but you know, it's happening. And that's their meet cute. So right off the bat, she's like, bam, I'm gonna jump you right into this book. This is like a forbidden, angsty, just delicious book where the heroine is so smart. The hero is obviously so smart. He's a doctor. And I just love how strong-willed they both are, but they both are trying to keep their lives intact. They don't want to harm the other person as far as their career goes. So the hero works for the heroine's grandfather's, I don't know, he owns like the school or the medical school or something like that. And so it's Off Limits, hence Off Limits series. But anyways, it was lovely, and it was such a fun turn of events. Definitely ends in an HEA, obviously. Each book in the series does. And I just loved their relationship so much. All right, next up, I feel like I should have started with this one because now I feel like with my sickness, my voice is just like leaving me and I'm struggling. But I read Magnolia Parks this month, finally. I've owned this for a long time. Back when Tori from Live a Novel Life or A Novel Life was first talking about it, and I was like, that sounds really fun. I don't know what Gilmore or what Gossip Girl is, but this sounds like something I would like, and I loved it. I love this book. So if you have not heard, and first of all, I bought this a while ago, so hence why I have the pretty cover and not the hideous cover. Whatever, we'll get there. This is about, or what is it about? This is between Magnolia Parks, hence the name of the book, and BJ Ballantyne. So they have a very tumultuous, toxic relationship. Think like the Addicted series, kind of. So they are on, off. He's cheating, she's kind of pseudo cheating. There's lots of mention of like designer clothes, and they're both very rich and like the rich elite of a London society, traveling. Her family is involved with different things, and their friend group, you know, their families are involved with some kind of criminal things, if you will, and I don't know, they're just epic. There's so many quotes in here where I was just dying, where I just was sobbing, and I just wanted to underline and highlight. I've never wanted to go back and physically read and tab and highlight a book ever in my life more than I wanted to with this one. I do get the urge to reread, but not that much, honestly. And with this one, I already am like, I want to reread this and tab it, because her writing to me was beautiful. I felt the emotions, like that's kind of the way I think. Like how she writes is kind of how I think about certain things and about relationships and things at times. It's kind of like run-on sentence, run-on feelings, like what you're feeling, and put it on the page. And the way that he felt about her, but he couldn't get his act together, and he knew it, and he knew she deserves better. And the way she's just like in her mind begging him to be the man that she needs him to be for her, but she kind of is fighting her feelings, knowing that he probably can't, and so she's trying to move on with these other people or this other person, and it's not totally clicking, but it's clicking enough so she can like numb herself enough to believe it. But the other person is struggling because they notice that in her, that she's not fully invested in them, and so then there's that, and it's just like this whole cycle of just heartbreak, and I loved it so much. If that sounds interesting to you, if the whole pitch of Gossip Girls, I've never seen that, so I don't know, sounds interesting to you, I would definitely recommend giving this a try. It's on audio. The audio narrators are perfect in my opinion. The accents and the voices I loved so much. I think the audiobook just came out recently too, so I'm sure that, you know, I love it so much. And, you know, 5 stars, obviously. I don't know if I said that. All right, last book is Daisy Haites, the second book in the series. I want to throw this cover in the dumpster so bad. I hate it. It's so ugly. Also, the pages look like, I don't know, it's like that, which is fine, but not really. I hate it. Because this one is like, the pages are like sturdy. Like you can see this one and then this one. Anyways, I did find out from Nikki in Bookland. Thank you so much, Nikki, for letting me know. You can still get these pretty covers on the Amazon UK site. So I do plan on actually getting those, because this, it's shiny. I don't like it. Anyways, moving on from the cover. Oh, why? But moving on from these ugly covers, Daisy Haites is the second book in the Magnolia Parks series, and I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. I just feel like I see a lot of people not giving this one 5 stars, and I was thinking to myself, like, do I love it as much as the first one? And like, yeah, I do. I like, their relationship to me was also very much powerful. So Daisy Haites is the main female character. That's her name. She is in this kind of criminal family. Her parents were murdered on the beach in front of her and her brother. Her brother took over the business. She kind of helps as she goes. They have 3 rules: no human trafficking, no kids, and something else, I don't know. But they definitely deal in like art embezzling, is that the right word? And maybe arms dealings and things like that. I don't know. Daisy has been very much in love and interested and infatuated with Christian Hems. That's how she says it in the book. And he is very much, if you read the first one, kind of pining over Magnolia Parks. But they have a relationship. So Daisy Haites is very much independent, feisty, extremely smart. Like, she's in medical school and she's suturing up her brother's men when they get injured. Her brother, you know, all of them, because she is training to be a doctor and she is very smart. She also is like an art wizard. She knows so much about art. It's wild, and it's really fun to read about, actually. I'm not super into art, but I've taken art classes, and like, you know, I don't know. It's interesting. So anyways, they have a very kind of passionate relationship. They have, you know, this amazing sex, and Christian, his point of view is really engaging to read about because he's thinking in his head, like, why can I not get Daisy out of my head? And all I want to do is make her smile, and I just want to, you know, do this and this, and why am I feeling this way? But I'm in love with Magnolia. Meanwhile, us as a reader are like, no, you're not. You love Daisy. Daisy has a childhood relationship that's kind of been ongoing, but on off a little bit, because it's this guy, Romeo, and he has saved Daisy in multiple occasions. And one was when they were alone together in a hotel room. I think they had done it for the first time or something like that. And men were after them trying to kill her, and he saved her. So she kind of feels very connected to him because of that, but it's a point of contention as the book goes on between her and Christian and Romeo. It's kind of like this, and then Magnolia also. So it's kind of like, again, this cycle of just toxicity and trying to figure out what's best for each individual person. I think the books in this series, they do not have HEAs, so you do have to get there. I am very excited for the next book. However, also her brother Julian is a huge part of this, but I'm not going to go into it because I feel like this video is already so long and I can barely talk. But I cannot wait to read the next 2 books in the series. However, neither audiobook have come out yet, and I loved those 2 audiobooks so much. The narrators were so perfect. They all have their own unique accents, and it's just, I don't know, it was just super enjoyable to me. So anyways, I cannot wait for those, and I hope that if that sounds interesting to you at all, that you give it a try and pick it up, because wow, again, would love to go through and tab and highlight. Thank you guys for sticking with me for this video. I hope if you made it this far, thank you so much. Please subscribe to my channel for more content from me. I will try to cross off all the books on my TBR as I go and keep you guys updated. Yeah, until next time, guys, I will see ya. Bye.